Eugenia Ann Perkins. I taught first grade for 11 years. And then I taught third grade for a year and second grade for 2 years. And then the ball began to bounce. I went into doing workshops for teachers who were doing a special program for children who fell between the cracks, but they weren't eligible for special ed. And so we ran a program called PPA, Program for Pupil Assistance. And I trained the teachers to be able to do that job because they had to work with students in a totally different way than their teachers did, because the teachers weren't decoding how they learned and how to work with them. So I did workshops with the teachers so they could use different methods and different techniques. I started those workshops in about 78. I worked in several. My first Denver public school job was at Montclair.
That's where we went. We went to Montclair.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That was my first assignment. I was there for 8 years. I loved it. So from Montclair, I went to Emerson, and I worked there for about 3 years. And then I went to Hallett Elementary, which was like 4 or 5 blocks from my house. So I really, really enjoyed that assignment. But when I went to Hallett, I started doing a special program. I wasn't in the regular classroom, and I worked with children 2 and 3 at a time. Most of them were behavioral problems. By the time we worked through that, they were able to learn. And some of them were really, really smart. I said, boy, they were fooling people all the time. I taught teachers and principals. I set up workshops. I trained teachers to do the workshops. And we had integration at the time. And a lot of teachers were saying, I don't know how to work with these children. I don't know what to do. I said, well, you know, it's mighty strange, because nobody got to say that about teaching all the children. You couldn't say, I don't know how to work with these children. You have to get in there and do the best you could. And so I ended up training teachers to work with all kids. And I had four areas. One of them was problem solving. One of them was conflict resolution. The other one was getting along in a group. And the last one was valuing the differences in all people. So yeah, so we workshopped teachers and principals in those 4 areas. You know, when I first got there and started doing this training, I said, well, what did you do for human relations before I got here? Well, we rode the bus. I said, well, what did you do with the bus? Well, we just rode the bus in the neighborhood. I said, did you get out of the bus? Did you walk in the neighborhood? Oh, no. We just rode. I said, well, tell me this. How did that transfer to the classroom? How did that help you to work with the children differently than you already had been? They say, we didn't think about that. I said, what was the reason for riding the bus? So they had strange things they were doing. And then the buzz started going around. Ginger Perkins isn't going to approve that. You probably need to change that activity. No, I'm not going to approve food tasting. You have to tell me whatever you're going to do as a human relations activity, because the court ordered 8 hours. And I was monitoring the court order. And so I said, well, tell me how you're going to transfer tasting food to the classroom. How is that going to help you to teach differently? Oh, that's why we were doing it. I said, exactly. There's a reason for you doing the training. When we finally got through talking about things, and then I had teachers from Manual High School. They called and they said, Ginger, we need some training. Mm-hmm. We have some teachers here that really don't know how to work with our kids. And so, we had the little training session, and the questions they asked me, you wouldn't believe that this came out a person's mouth in this day and age. One of the ladies wanted to know, when we teach Black history, do we have to teach it to everybody? What to say? Hell yes, but I didn't. I said, yes, you do. That's the whole idea of all of this. We're integrating the schools. Why would you think they thought you could integrate if you were not going to teach everybody? I would suggest you train the teachers first, so that they have some idea of what they're getting into. Because by the time I had to train them, they had already been put right smack dab in the middle of a classroom. And some of them would be scratching their heads, like, oh Lord, what do I do with these kids? So I think that the teachers really ought to be trained first, and then try to put them in with kids. They're just not used to behaviors, cultural differences, the way each group socializes. They just don't have any clue. And it makes it difficult. So they want another training session. Had to do some more training. But I would say that in the end, it all started working out. Started working itself out, and I was very pleased with how things finally turned out at the end of all that training and observing. And I would go in the classroom and observe teachers, and they'd call on a kid and they'd say, what's the answer to this question, yada, yada, yada. Well, the kid would say, well, before that last L could come out of the mouth, the teacher would say, you don't know. I'm going to call on so-and-so. What she would do would be a Black kid that would say, well, think. If that kid didn't give her the answer fast enough, she called him a white kid. Mm-hmm. And that child would snap that answer out. So finally, I made mention to her of that. I said, you didn't give that one kid any wait time. You gave the other kid the wait time. I said, you didn't give that. Well, I knew they didn't know. I said, no, you don't. You don't know that. It takes some children longer than others to think. I tell you the things I would see, I'd say, oh, mercy. These poor babies. And then when I would tell the teachers and call that to their attention, I did that? You did it. I think it was worth it for the kids especially.
Mm-hmm.
Because they weren't able to really learn in that kind of an environment. They needed to feel like make them feel more comfortable with their learning style. Everybody learns differently and everybody teaches differently. And what teachers didn't understand is the children don't have to match you. You have to match their learning style. Yeah, well, through my tenure, it took a good 9 or 10 years for it all be said and done. Never, ever, ever. My biggest thought was, how can I change this? How can I make it different? How can I promote a more positive feeling among the staff and among the kids? I never, ever wanted to give up. That would have been the last thought in my mind. Yeah, I love the kids. I enjoy working with the teachers. Not riots, but it'd be a little, little fights, little spats. But never like a big time riot. And you see, I worked in elementary school. Now, I don't know what happened in middle school and high school, but not in elementary school. The kids would just, how kids are. They'll go after anybody, they don't care. Then they make up and they're all buddy-buddy hugging each other in 5 minutes. Every year during the first part of the year, I say, oh, Lord, Sam, I don't know what I'm going to do with these children. They're not learning anything, yada, 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 I go. By December, whole different story. I said, oh, I've got the most wonderful children. He said, I thought you couldn't teach them anything. I said, oh, no. I can teach them, they're learning. But it takes them a while to get acclimated and to get used to their environment and the situation. So it was fun. It was really fun. I enjoyed the little ones. I did not like the older kids. I did not have patience with not wanting to do what they've been told to do. Those little first graders would sit up there. What are we going to do next? They were adorable. So I did not work with older kids that much. My first teaching assignment was in Catholic school at St. Peter and Paul. And I taught there for 3 years. Then I went to public schools. When I left Montclair, I went to Emerson and I taught 3rd grade. I thought they were giants. I said, oh Lord, what am I going to do? But they turned out to be really, really sweet, sweet kids. Well, you ladies, I hope you get a good grade.